So when Mamdani was going to on a glide path to being the mayor of New York City, everybody said the president wants him to win. The congressional Republicans want him to win because he'd be the face of the Democratic Party. Then he meets with the president and they have a love fest, and everybody kind of confused about what that would mean. But they said, well, they can still use him as a poster child. Now I know there's a lot of other news, particularly Venezuela, but I'm here in New York City. I see it every day. This guy is doing all the things that Republicans dreamed about. He's hiring radicals for his government. He's doing policy stuff that's extremely left wing. You may agree with it, but it's the very stuff Republicans had hoped for. And yet it doesn't seem to be part of the national conversation. It's not even that big a story in New York. Even the New York Post and the New York Times they're covering it, but it's not explosive. So what happened? Why did it go from he was going to be the face of the Democratic Party to so far not that big a deal? Eric.
I think you got to let it play out a little more.
Yeah.
You get a little further into this, but also, I've talked to a number of Republican consultants who were kind of banging their head against the wall on the idea of making him the face of the Democratic Party because they're thinking this is going to be an election about Trump, not Mamdani, and you're going to have local politics. And the people in Iowa or the people here in Georgia, they're not really scared of Mamdani. He's a life lesson in what you don't do. And maybe you can prop up some Democrats in races around the country and say he'd be the Mamdani. But I think most Republican consultants all along have thought it was a bad idea to try to make him the face of the Democratic Party when he's the mayor of a city.
Kevin.
Yeah, he's not the boogeyman that everyone was worried about. I think from a national perspective, he's not the Nancy Pelosi. Run those ads in every single House district against the Democrats. But to Eric's point, we've got to give it time. Obviously, Venezuela has knocked off any kind of he was sworn in on January 1st at midnight, has knocked off any kind of coverage of what he's going to do. And now's the hard part, right? This is the prose part. This is the poetry part of what he's got to do. And now he's got to deliver on affordability and things like that. And some of these appointments too. I'm just like, we'll see what happens.
They brought an anti-Israel socialist to New York City and made one of them mayor, and then they put the other guy in prison. And
then there's executive orders too that are just
I don't know. I didn't quite get that line right. There's a guy in New York. There's a socialist, an anti-Israel socialist in New York City who's dominating the news, and his name is Maduro. How about that? That's really what I meant to say.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.